consuming information, or is it consuming you? Nowadays, everything shouts, look at me, listen to me, buy me. Everything wants to get our attention. There is so much information, there are so many advertisements and news. And the problem about it is that we tend to get distracted so easily, and we cannot fully focus on what's important to us. So as soon as we manage to sit down to work on our goals, our minds are always drifting away. And it's not because there is something wrong with us, but it's because we live in a world of distractions. I've realized that I'm actually a part of that, and I also struggle with focusing for a long time on something that is, let's say, relatively boring when I compare it to all the things that I can see on the internet, for example. That's why recently I've read a book entitled Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey, and I would like to share the most interesting ideas included in this book because I feel like that this is actually a common problem. But before I share it with you, let me explain why the ability of being focused for a long time is so important. So it doesn't matter what your goals are. If you want to get better at anything, you need to learn to focus for a long time on doing just this one thing. Because this is how you go from average to good to excellent. And sometimes there are no shortcuts. So if you know how to focus, you have a major advantage over others. Because you can learn any skill you want much quicker. That's why you need to learn to control your attention so you can actually focus on the most important things and live the life you want. So the first interesting observation that was made in this book is that even if you think that you don't focus on anything, you still focus on something because your attention goes in different directions all the time. So most people cannot control it, and it's definitely not possible to control it all the time. But what is possible is to train yourself in a way that if you need it, you can do it. How to unlock hyperfocus? Number 1, 2 types of distractions and how to eliminate them. A clean and well-organized environment is something very important to be able to fully focus on your tasks. But this is actually not a discovery that I would like to talk about. So I want to ask you, why is it so that even in an empty room, when you try to focus on just one thing, your mind may still wander about many others? The reason for it is that there are different types of distractions. There are internal distractions and external distractions. And the internal distractions are much more dangerous for your focus. So it's relatively easy to eliminate external distractions. You can just turn off your phone and clean up your desk. But the real problem is that your mind will still wonder about some other things when you try to focus on one. This is actually not even always a bad thing, because in this way new ideas come to your mind. But the question is, what is the solution to experiencing deep focus when you actually want to be productive? So the answer is to keep a piece of paper and a pen nearby. And whenever a new distraction comes to your mind, you can just write it down. So in this way, you don't have to switch from one task to the other, and you're gonna still remember about it if it's something important, so you can do it or check it later. And in this way, you're gonna also become more mindful about it, because you will realize what distracts you. What kind of thoughts are in your mind when you actually want to focus. So before I share with you the second point, I would like to tell you that if you think that my videos are valuable and you feel like you would like to see more of my videos in the future, just subscribe to my channel. How to unlock hyperfocus? Number 2, consume, but not passively. Do you remember a question that I've asked you at the beginning of this video? So the question is, are you consuming information or is it just consuming you? We consume a lot, and it's not possible to be a human and not to consume. We read newspapers, books, we listen to the radio, watch TV. This is how we function. But we still have a choice. We can just passively listen to irrelevant things, or we can become conscious consumers. So to do it, make sure that the things you consume are worth it. Read descriptions of TV shows and find something that you can benefit from, rather than just spend and waste your time on. I'm sure that you've heard a saying that you are what you eat. And it's actually the same with information. You are what you watch and you are what you listen to. 40% of the things we do are our habits. We live in autopilot mode very often, but I think that some decisions are worth making consciously because they can change our lives for better. How to unlock hyperfocus? Number 3. Take care of what's in your mind. Clean up your mental space. To achieve hyperfocus, you have to stop multitasking and focus on just one thing. And to do it, ask yourself questions like, what's in your mind? What are you worrying about? Because those thoughts pop out of nowhere and they destroy your focus. Work on your mental clarity by becoming aware of what you are thinking about and eliminating some of unnecessary and disturbing thoughts. You can do it by noticing them and rejecting them. So when this kind of thought is disturbing you, what you should do is to basically take your attention back to your main object of attention. So try to focus on what's going on in the present. Because when your mind drifts away, you usually either think about your future or about your past. Instead of that, focus on what's going on right now. How to unlock hyperfocus? Number 4. Practical tips to unlock hyperfocus. So right now I would like to share with you how you can actually unlock hyperfocus just in the moment when you need to be productive. So the first thing may seem obvious, but it's actually a crucial one. And it is to choose the object of your attention. So consider tasks that are the most valuable to you. So after that, estimate how long you want to hyper-focus on this task. For example, you can do 20-minute practice. I know what you think. And what if I'm not even able to focus for 5 minutes? Well, then 5 minutes can be your goal. You can actually practice your focus like a mental muscle, and you can start extending it over time. So when you focus for a long time on just one thing, you may notice that your mind is getting tired and your attention is actually overloaded. And that's why you feel burnout. So you should recharge your attention and take a break. Do something that doesn't require from you a lot of focus during this time, like doing laundry or washing up the dishes. Because then, when you recharge your attention, you can go back to your task again. So this is how you can unlock hyperfocus and actually start living your life more mindfully. And if you have any questions or you would like to share your thoughts, I answer most of the comments, so go ahead.